$250,000. I know.
I'm Lois Collinder.
Hello, everyone. I'm Glenda Linscott.
And
that's me there.
It is. And I play Lurch.
I play Rita Connors.
That's right.
Otherwise known as Rita the Beater. See, look, there's the bandana still there.
Well, this is the last episode of Prisoner.
Yes. So, my goodness me, that's a lot of episodes. How many? 692 episodes.
Yeah, and I just think, there I am there. Oh, look, you've been really nasty to me in this scene, Glenda.
Yeah, I know, but there's a plan.
Yes, I know, but
And
I didn't know
well.
that.
She's not well.
She's not a well woman.
No.
Oh, look,
Yeah,
I
see?
think that at this stage they'd written some wonderful stuff to tie up a lot of ends.
That's
and
right.
well, for my character,
That's
it was lovely.
You see, it was really hard for poor old Lurch there. You know, she's been absolutely devoted to.
Oh, I've been
Rita.
looking after you and you turn on me.
Yeah, but you know that we for those people who are listening to us talking about script writers a long time ago when we talked about the other episode when we spoke together. The really exciting thing about being part of a long-running television series, when they say, right, this is it, this is the end date, and this is how we're going to finish it. So finally, the whole company can go, I know the end point. And so you and I could really play that scene
right.
with absolute passion and gusto because we knew, what was coming. So it was like being in a play, really.
That was.
You knew the end.
The end, yeah. And it was a bit sad in a way, wasn't it? Because it had given a lot of people, a lot of actresses, a lot of work.
Yeah.
And
has been such a really worldwide and long-standing
phenomenon, really.
Really, absolutely. Because what is it now? When did this? Was 86? Was it 86 or 87? 86, and so it's 21 years. And I don't know about you, but I have people in my life every day saying hello to me.
Of course, we look exactly the same, Glenn,
no,
you and I, don't we?
Not
yes.
a bit.
Mm-hmm.
With the light behind us.
And in a rose pink light. Oh, dear old Melbourne, here we are. This is where I have lived all my life, but you came from Sydney.
I was a Sydney girl, yeah. I live in Melbourne now, though.
You do?
Yes, came. But,
on those gates, Maggie pretends to lock the gate. Doesn't really lock.
The whole. I remember, looking at this now. The whole week that we were shooting this, or the 2 weeks, was quite charged, wasn't it? With the sense of the ending of something quite big. Because it's not. I mean, I don't think I certainly wasn't aware of the phenomenal success of Prisoner, or the Prisoner was about to become.
Yeah.
But
I don't think any of us at this stage it was shown here in Australia, and we had no idea that it would go so well everywhere else.
In fact, I seem to remember that Channel 10 had a change of management or something, and there was a shift away from drama and to sport. And so I know because I was a young actress, it was my first big break, and I was really looking forward to my character kind of hitting primetime television and making my way in the world as a young actor. And it took about 3 years for those first episodes to finally fully screen because, what did she say? Oh, it's Joy Westmore.
Oh, you've escaped.
See, I've escaped.
That's Joy Westmore.
Joy Westmore, yes.
Yeah. And Maggie's gone on and done lots of other things. Because she did Prisoner the Musical in London.
That's right,
yes.
she did.
And you were in the play.
I was in the play that Grundy's put the first 13 episodes together and made a kind of theatre event. I wouldn't call it a play; it was a theatre event. and I got to play Amanda Muggleton's character on stage.
Oh, because you already done Rita, but it hadn't been shown in the UK.
It hadn't been shown in the UK.
Right.
Yes,
they were still up to the early episodes.
So I got to play. And in fact, I've gone on in my life, and I feel like, even though I'm about twice the size, I feel like I'm Amanda's little sister because I have subsequently been cast in the lead role in Steaming, which she made. There was a famous production she was in Australia, and she got that because of Prisoner, because Rodney Fisher was in Perth one night doing some show. This is a very well-known Australian theatre director, and he was watching an episode of Prisoner and he went, "That girl, that's the girl I want to play, Josie. Who's that girl?" And it was Amanda. And so, of course, that 1983 production, I think it was, of Steaming was famous in Australia. It was, and it came back several times.
Yeah, it did.
And then 10 years later, it was done again, and this time with me.
Yeah.
I played
You were
Josie.
great. I saw that production. You were terrific. I have to tell everybody that we've been friends, really close friends, ever since Prisoner, and also with Elspeth Ballantyne, who's Mrs. Morris. She's one of our closest friends as well. So there were, well, for us anyway, we formed a very close friendship. And
Ellie and I we did the British tour. The fabulous thing about doing the British tour was, just from an actor's point of view, you for 4 months, you toured the provinces. You did one every week. There was a new theatre, and we toured all those fabulous Frank Matcham theatres, and Ellie and I just saw England.
Oh, great!
Is this me?
Is it you? You're robbing something,
or is it where I'm putting the money?
No, you're taking the money out of the safe and putting it somewhere on the toilet, I think.
Oh, that was one of my best moments. I loved doing that. I actually got to really throw a chair through a real plate glass window.
And it broke.
It
didn't bounce off or anything.
Big time. No, it didn't bounce off. I said, are you serious? Can I really do this? Yes. And they had 5 cameras set up, and they had the glazier standing by, so they just put the window straight back in as soon as we finished shooting. It was an awful lot of cleaning up the glass, but that was the best fun, I have to say. It was just like...
Did you really climb this fence?
Yeah, I did, I'm afraid to say.
Oh, some of the things you have to do as an actress, I tell you. And for a second or two is all you see, and you probably did that for an hour or so.
Yes, I probably did, yes, I know. But the thing is, this stuff, I felt like I was Sean Connery, I felt like I was Pierce Brosnan, except Pierce Brosnan wasn't doing James Bond in those days, but, it was so exciting.
Sean Connery, you can be. I think he's
Connery,
very attractive, man.
Sean Connery. Oh, is he? What? And he gets sexier as he gets older.
He does. Oh, look, you're not looking too good, do you?
What'd you see? I've got cancer. Taking storylines in general, we often had to go to some pretty interesting places to shoot the outside broadcast stuff, what we call in the trade the OB.
Yeah, this is the outside of Channel 10 there with those false
there's false
bars
windows,
on.
Yeah.
Where did you do that other stuff? Where you just
the other
broke
stuff
the window?
where we broke the window was actually the Grundy's offices in Richmond.
Oh, right.
It was, so that's where where it all starts. Yeah. Where it's script.
But we've been everywhere.
Oh, everywhere. I know.
What about when we escaped and we were on the boat?
Went to the boat. We
out
didn't
on the
escape.
harbour.
No,
we were on work experience.
We work experience of good behaviour, and then we planned to escape from there.
That's
right.
I
think, we escaped. You and I escaped, didn't we?
We did. We were on a beach somewhere.
So there we are. That was like, Glenda, can you dive into Fort Phillip Bay and swim for 4 hours?
There might be sharks,
but
don't worry.
There might be sharks, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, you have to go in fully clothed. Yes, swim with... Oh, God. Mm-hmm. And can you swim into the camera over here and stop squinting? It's good because I had to swim in towards the camera as the sun was setting or something.
Now, I love the way that the writers set up this last episode.
Yes,
and what better thing to do than to get the freak?
I know. That's what I say my claim to fame is when I meet people who don't know Prisoner or don't know the character. Who were you? I said, well, I played a character called Rita Connors, and she was a bikie, and the last top dog, and she was the one that got the freak. Oh,
don't you brag about being top dog? I was top dog for a while, wasn't I? I wasn't very good at it. I have to go ask Reet how to do things.
That's right.
Yeah. But sometimes in trivia questions they forget
that you
about
were top
me
dog.
that
That's
I was in the top dog.
Is it?
Yes,
that's
so
not
they have
fair.
to put me on the list.
Yes, you should be. It should be an honour roll of some kind. Lurch was top dog.
Yes. So
then what else? Where else did we go that was an interesting art? Well, of course there was the Blackmore. That was like a sort of telly movie within it's a television series where my character was taken to a maximum security prison called Blackmore. And there was a riot, and that was shot down in what is now the Science Works Museum in Melbourne, underneath the Westgate
lovely
Bridge.
Old building, beautiful looking building.
And it was a derelict something or other. Actually, I don't think I ever knew what it was. Do you know
I think
an
in
old
those
Melbourne girl? What was that site? Where the Science Works is
something
now?
to do with power, like electricity.
Like an old power station. Was
that's
it?
what it was.
That would be. Yeah.
I didn't get to do very many OBs other than out in the freezing cold out there, where we just saw that scene outside the Channel 10 studios, or on the roof when we sort of hung. Did we hang the freak over the edge of the roof? At one stage we did that, and then we had to climb the fence the other time when we tried to escape. But mostly, and then we had the sports day. That was all out in the...
It was all out in the grounds of Channel 10.
I remember they made them... We had a tug of war, and they made the mud. They dug a hole, and they made mud. But they got bags of, dirt in, and it had manure in it.
Oh!
And we had this tug of war, and I was one of the ones who had to fall into the mud, and it stunk, and it was vile. It set on your face hard, like a it wasn't
very good for your skin there, dear.
That's what they kept telling me, but I didn't believe them.
What is amazing about Prisoner is that it was one of the lowest budget television series that was ever made, and so how resourceful were they to find or to make all these kind
things.
of location settings where they didn't have to pay look like different places to be.
Yeah. And you're in the sick room here.
Yes.
Which was probably one of the cells just converted.
Yes,
it was interesting to see the layout actually on the floor. How it wasn't a big set, really, was it?
It was like 3 corridors just used in different
and cells that were used in different ways.
I have a feeling that might have been the kitchen set that was redone.
The governor's office was a definite set, but they would set that up and then take it away.
Yeah.
The laundry was always there, of course, with all that equipment. The rec room and the dining room was the same set, but they just changed
When I first arrived, I loved riding the dryers.
Did you?
Bike, yeah. I got up there.
And remember the food? When we had so much food acting, we were always doing scenes where we were sitting down eating food, which had gone cold. By the time it came from the cafeteria, and then they'd put it out on the tables, and then you'd rehearse it a few times. Then if people are really interested, they should watch the dining room scenes and see how many times we move the food around the plate. There's a lot of cutting. Yes. But there's very little eating. Sometimes a piece of toast. You nibble on a piece of toast for a while. But cold egg...
No, it's not good.
Not good. No, very hard. Or cold congealed stew or something. It wasn't easy to eat, was it? No. So I loved all that cutting up acting we used to do.
Yeah. This was such an exciting story to play, I have to say. Because it was a bit of a thriller. And beautiful Peter. Yeah. Beautiful Peter. And... it was. I was just laughing with Lois before about how, my contract was up. I was actually written out of the series, and they decided the way they would let me go was to give me lymphoma, this cancer. Even though I, desperately wanted to break out like Steve McQueen, but it wasn't to be. No. But then Channel 10 decided that they were going to let Prisoner go. And so there was, phone calls back. There you go, darling.
Oh, do I look glamorous? Not one of my most glamorous roles, but then again, I never do really get to play.
Shower cap acting, I love that little detail. Flying down the hallway, with locks, curls flying in the wind.
Oh,
but then I get the call from the agent saying that they've decided to axe the show, and would you please stay for another 3 months and we'll write the show around you. Which, that's not often you get an offer like that. Yeah. So what am I going to say? No, I'm not going to do that. But of course, too, they've really thought up this brilliant way of tricking the freak and getting... But I had to somehow accommodate it with the fact that I was dying of cancer. Yeah. So, as I said, always adaptable, always flexible, always willing to say yes.
Always stretching the reality. Yeah.
But what for an actor, what a bizarre but really exciting thing to play.
Well, one of the things that I loved about it was, of course...
Oh, it's Bud. Is that Bud?
Yes, Bud Tingle.
Oh,
famous,
darling Bud.
Wonderful actor, director.
We just did Gingerbine together. I was in
the
feature film with Ray Lawrence, and so one of the things I do now is I teach a lot, direct a lot, and I work with with children because I'm probably
coaching.
Combined that thing of being a mum and drum teacher and an actress, and so I got to direct the 2 kids in Gingerbine and played, since I was on set. So, would you mind doing the detective as well? Yeah, no worries, I'll just throw that in. But it was wonderful to be with Bud. He's one of our greatest.
I love his voice.
He's a national living treasure, that man.
I'm off duty in a minute.
Well, here we are, nearly to the end. As the plot thickens.
Yeah, Maggie and I, we'd been through so many contests as characters. We developed this. We knew the characters so well and their relationships so well that by the time we got to this You know, that there was no need for us to workshop or talk about it because Maggie and I just knew what to do, how to be there. And we'd been through. And I mean, Maggie's such a wonderful actress and so generous. You know, when we got a chance to have that power balance, you know, often she would win and then I would win and she would win, and you'd never understand. There's that sort of complexity of, why don't I just bloody get you? When I had like the chance, I had to like push her off the cliff, and I didn't. Why did you do that? She said, I don't know. You know, all of those things over a year that builds up a sort of reciprocity between, if you like, you know, a relationship between. So it's amazing that Maggie and I can play a scene like this, and we wouldn't have had the time to think about it or talk about it. We just got on there and did it.
I have to tell everybody that doorway there's fake. You can't get in or out. You just have to sort of stand there and wait for somebody to say action, and then you sort of come around the corner, or you just walk forward. This is also the side wall of Channel 10.
That's right. And just a little bit further away, if you imagine where the cameraman is now, behind him would be the playgrounds, or it's actually where they landed the helicopter, wasn't it?
And once we had a garden, we had a vegetable garden.
That's right, and that's where we shot all those scenes when we had, you know, sports days.
Sports days, because there was big grounds at Channel 10, so they had a lot of room. Now, this is in where? Richmond?
This would be Richmond. This is inner city suburb in Melbourne, and she's going to go and pick up the money.
Look, I mean, she's wonderful. Look at that face. Look at her just going through all that.
She's great respect for people that just do it. You know, she was always kind of fiercely passionate about me. I love the way she would say, "You just get in there and do it." I mean, there are times we just have to keep going when we were sick. You know, when we had the flu.
Remember that one time when we were all so sick that all the beds in the cells were all full of sick actresses lying in bed, and then we had to get out of bed to actually get up and do something because the flu or something had gone right throughout. But we had to keep going.
Because there's this juggernaut of deadlines, and even though that we were like many, many weeks ahead of what was screening, it was to tie it up with, you know, studio times and so on. You just couldn't stop shooting. You had to stick to the schedule. Oh, John McTernan! Oh, now there's a fabulous actor.
Yeah, lovely guy. That was, I think, and Roseanne. Yeah. So. This is this episode where we see you in love, don't we? We do. Yes, you see. It was just the most wonderful thing for me to have the final romance in the series. Lurch had been through so much. I remember the lovely scenes I did with...
Darling Mike Bishop.
Yeah, with Mike Bishop. But before that, when I actually
He used to call himself Mike Fish Shop.
Did he?
Yeah, called Mike Fish Shop.
I can't remember.
But he played saxophone.
When there's one particular really lovely scene that I loved was a scene that I did with... Julia Blake as Nancy, when I was actually on the turn, starting to be a good girl, a good prisoner, and I did this lovely sort of little monologue piece where I talked about my childhood and I know when it was when Lou Kelly had escaped and she killed my mother and my brother.
Oh, okay.
And I'd just received notice of that, and I had this wonderful scene. You know, every now and then the writers would just give you a gem, and I loved that scene where I talked about my brother and my mum, and then that's sort of from then on was when I reformed and my character became. I still had a lot of comedy. I loved the comedy part of Lurch. It was just great. But for this sort of really tall, gawky country girl at the finish to get the romance, to me, it was an absolute joy.
But it's such a wonderful journey, isn't it, to go, I mean, just like a chrysalis developing into a butterfly. She has, as a character, she's come from nowhere. And look what's happened. There's wonderful transitions that character has.
And the fact that she has such loyalty to Rita. And
I think that goes a long way to the heart of why Prisoner is such a loved show. And when Ellie and I were travelling around England and we actually got the chance to meet people face to face, and we were saying to ourselves, who are the Prisoner fans? You know, who are watching it? And we decided after 4 months of, day in, day out, meeting people, the Prisoners fans are everyone. They're not just, the minority. They're anyone who's ever experienced a sense of being incarcerated or trapped by their situation, and that can be internal one, a spiritual one, or it can be an actual one, you know, where you're trapped in a marriage or in, you know, in an institution but for a journey like for Lurch to go from being that probably not very bright, you know, will-o'-the-wisp that kind of gets picked up by the
does everything everybody else does.
Yes, and then she goes through quite a, you know, dark night of the soul. I suppose not getting too kind of deep about it, but yes, you know, when that injustice is inflicted on her, she changes. And I've had many conversations with many fans over the years about the importance of stories that come through series like Prisoner, and I really believe the vital importance of public television, because it can tell stories in a way that validates our own, you know, search for meaning, our own. You know, there is a wonderful young woman I met, and she came out for the 21st, I think. Oh no, the later one. There's, you know, there
25th anniversary.
Anniversaries that come out. And she was a little girl when she watched this, and she came from a very abusive family and had never known that there was another way to be in the world. And she watched the characters on Prisoner, and she decided, I'm going to live like that one day. And by sheer kind of dint of, her own will, she got herself through school because she knew there was a way to have, I suppose, you know, a just way of living. And anyway, then she got through school and her grandma bought her a ticket. Yeah. And she said, one day I want to meet you. And she did. Yeah. There she was. And we talked about the fact that it's not me, it's the character. You know, it's the character that was... Oh, here we are.
I mean, I love these scenes with, you know, how devoted Lurch is to Rita, and you know, Rita realises, you say something, there's one particular line, you say, you're a big gawk, but I love you, or something like that. And, you know, and it's... And this is one when Lurch is arranging to give you a surprise for your birthday.
Oh, that's the bike, isn't it? Yeah.
You remember? Yeah.
How you feeling anyway?
A lot better now.
So they're really easy scenes to do because by this stage we had formed a bond and a friendship, which was really nice, you know. It was so much nicer to act with somebody that if you really like them and you get on with them.
But it was I was so thrilled for you because I just knew how wonderful it was for you to have you know, beautiful scenes to play like this.
What is this?
Gosh, that's good makeup. You do look really ill.
I don't look.
We had some wonderful people in makeup.
Oh, didn't
Billy?
we? Yeah,
Willie, that's right. So yeah, and it was wonderful.
No one, okay?
Talking about the makeup, a lot of people say how brave we all were because
there was no makeup.
There was no makeup. A bit of
powder. That was it.
And I didn't have lipstick or anything.
No.
And I used to always beg them. I was like, please, can't I just have a little line on my eyes?
That's right.
Can't I have a bit of lipstick? Begging. No, Lois. No.
And then we'd have, you know, in the next studio, we'd have all the neighbours' girls, you know,
but sometimes
glamour to the max.
Sometimes even in prison, we'd have the glamorous ones.
Well, that's
like
true.
Paula Duncan.
That's right.
She was always gorgeous, and Christine Harris was always being done up, and here we are, us poor little ones.
You didn't take me down that very gently, did you? Just shocking. This
wasn't easy to manoeuvre that.
Look at that. See, they've got extension on the jeans.
I couldn't whistle either. One of the crew members doing that big whistle. Here you go. You've got eyeliner on, haven't you?
Yeah, she's allowed to have.
I didn't have eyeliner.
Just on the bottom.
I didn't have anything. Bit of powder. My God.
Yeah.
Here's the Harley.
There's the Harley.
I think that's Glenn on that.
It is Glenn.
Because he had a bike, didn't he? Glenn, our stunt coordinator, who was fantastic.
It's my bike. God, she loves her bike, doesn't she?
You were right, Alice. I told you yesterday I knew what you wanted.
It was great. They would never let me ride a bike. I was dead keen to learn, but there was, you know, insurance clauses and stuff like that.
Yeah. But it was. Oh, I loved that.
Oh,
that was great.
Oh,
Look at you.
See, I loved it too.
Wonderful acting. That's fabulous.
I wasn't acting. I was thrilled. I'd be thrilled to hold on to Glenn Roland, let me tell you.
Yes. A bit of a spunk, as I recall.
He was gorgeous. What a beautiful... Look at you. Aren't you gorgeous?
I'm happy too for you.
Uh-oh. And this is coming round, and this again is the front of Channel 10.
It's a nice sunny day, but it probably is very cold. I think.
It always is in Melbourne. But what they say about Melbourne weather, you know, four seasons in one day. If you don't like the weather in Melbourne, just wait a minute.
Yeah. But it must be cold because Ellie's got her jacket on, you see. That's how you can tell. And probably some days we even had to have thermals, didn't we?
Right, we
It
did.
was so cold.
We did this. This must have been. Can you remember what it was like in that last week?
I think it was cold.
Packing up. In terms of the whole kind of.
Well, see, these OB scenes would have been done the week before.
Yeah.
And then, it was sort of mixture of sadness and looking forward to having a bit of a break and a holiday.
Tricksy shot there. I'm sorry, I'm
going round and around.
But that was very hard for the cameraman to do that. I think we did that 2 or 3 times.
We didn't have those marvellous cameras that are on that sort of those bang.
Yeah.
No. Here we are.
Yeah. I don't like that anyway. In myself, it's showing people. Yeah.
Oh, cake.
Yeah.
We probably got stuck into that after the scene was finished.
Yeah. But was this? This would have been the following week because
this would have been the last week.
This is the last week, so this might have been one of the last rec room scenes ever.
Yeah, and as we would finish doing the scenes in that set, they just whisked it away.
Pack it away.
Remember, and like one by one, everything just disappeared, and in the finish there was like one little cell.
That's right.
In the middle of that great big enormous studio.
Do you remember all the set crew people from Neighbours were coming in because Neighbours was going to transfer into the biggest studio?
Yeah,
and so it was.
Get out, hurry up, move out.
We
want to move in. Yeah, but no, it was really sort of this sort of sweet, sad and happy at the same time, wasn't it? And
dear, she's not well. She's not well at all.
No. Yeah. Oh, I think some of us have got new shirts on there too. Did you notice? There's not check. They're sort of plain colours.
Oh, okay.
We went through into those as well.
Yeah.
But it was we had a big party afterwards. Remember, we had a huge party. But and I can remember also talking about parties. Remember, the Logies are the television awards, and I only ever went to one. We went up to Sydney for the Logie Awards. Yeah. You've won a Logie Award, haven't you?
Not a Logie.
You won.
I won a Penguin Award for Rita, which was the industry awarded, the sort of prestigious ones. For
yes, that you voted for by your peers.
Not to say that Logies are not prestigious, but Logies are how do you call it? They're voted by the public. They're most popular. That's right. Yeah. But it was great to win a Penguin because that was awarded by my peers.
Yeah.
To say that Rita was a bit of good acting.
Yeah.
So have I. She'll be ripping us off left, right and centre.
So many great actresses, went through.
I think 900 is the number of actresses that went through. And I don't think there's ever been another series
employed
before
that many.
or since it's employed that many.
Mm.
Oh,
this is my scene with my Harry, I think, coming up. Wonderful actor called Mike Bishop, who was gorgeous and tall, and just such a lovely actor to work with.
A beautiful human being.
Yes. And what about, the storyline that they brought men in from the men's prison into the women's prison. That was stretching the believability a bit.
Well,
But
who was he again? What was his? He was a
Harry. He was a country boy. Yeah, and we met through the bars and locked eyes, and that was it. Good. But it was so wonderful for a character like Lurch to have the last romance. I just was so chuffed about that.
And the emblem of the rose.
Yes, that's right.
That he gives you the rose, and then you then give it to Rita, and how that. Is a very beautiful thing to do to wrap the show up.
Yeah, it was. He was, and Lurch's loyalty to Rita now, not wanting to go with Harry to
wanting to stay.
She says, but to go to Barnhurst. Look, so I'm joyful, but then all of a sudden it hits me that I can't go. So.
I can't leave Mrs. Reynolds.
Yeah.
You understand, don't you, Harry?
Yes, he does, Alice. Exactly what
It's a great blossoming. I keep saying it's a great blossoming for you.
Yeah.
She came into being a lead role.
That's right. Yeah, the finish. I can remember the first time my photograph went up at the beginning. I thought, I was felt so proud that finally I made it. Yeah, to be one of the mug shots at the beginning of the episode. Yeah, here we are. Here is the rose. Yeah. So
Last one left on the bush.
it was a lovely scene. I am a bit of a sook. I really like a bit of a romantic. I love this
But
bit.
who isn't?
Oh, it's into the music. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? So romantic.
This actress here, she and I did Romeo and Juliet together. She played Juliet, and I played the nurse.
Right.
At Balmoral Beach, 1988 or 9.
Yeah.
She was fantastic, and then she went off to America and she worked in rep in America. I think she's still there, actually.
You know what I did after I finished Prisoner?
What?
I played a nun.
That's right, you did!
A singing, all
was
singing, all
brilliant.
dancing nun
Nun in
in
Nonsense.
Nonsense. Yeah, with a national tour. Oh, I had such a
Oh
good...
my God, you lost weight though, didn't you?
I did. You do a whole night singing, dancing in that.
And a wimple,
Oh,
a nun suit. It was a
unbelievable.
fabulous show.
It was such fun. Because I love comedy. I love making people laugh.
Yeah.
And to be in a show that just had people rolling in the aisles. And literally, one night, a man actually fell out of his
His
seat
chair.
laughing. And, you know,
Absolutely brilliant show. And it did national tour, didn't it?
did,
You went
yeah, we
everywhere.
went everywhere.
Did
It
you
was-
do 2 seasons of it?
No,
Was
I
it just
did
the
one
one?
season. Then they did Nonsense 2,
That's
which was
right.
the second, but that wasn't successful. That sort of opened
That's-
and closed pretty
that's right,
quickly.
yeah.
But the first tour was just such
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, I loved it.
Well, after Prisoner, I went back to Sydney and got married.
You did?
I did. I went to Italy for a holiday. And there wasn't
Oh,
a
you
lot
did
of work
Angels
for
in
me.
America?
Oh, but that was like 10 years later.
Oh, was it that long?
I didn't, I know this is hard to believe and I'm not whinging, but I didn't work for 18 months after Prisoner. And then what did I do after? Oh, well, I travelled. I went to overseas. Oh,
This is my most favourite scene. I love the way they wrote this scene.
I just remember when we shot the scene, I was lying in the bed watching you come in to take this shot, and my heart was just so full of joy for you because it was such a beautiful role for you to have now. And the way you played it with such tenderness. It really was one of those, honest to God, felt like you were talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
Bugger, you scared the life out of me.
What did Renaud want?
Because you're so sick by this stage.
And
I'm
it's-
really, really worried about you.
Yeah.
Sent Harry to Barnhurst.
Oh, and of course I'm upset about that.
Yeah, and of course there's two, you know, isn't that like life, when you get bloody not one thing, but,
Yeah, everything hits you.
goes wrong.
Yeah.
And you end up, you've just got each other in the end.
Stop being a big
Pussy. You've said that to me a few times enough. Tables have turned.
Probably.
Little bit of,
It doesn't matter where he is.
yeah.
It just doesn't matter.
Oh, look, you're so wise. Rita's so wise.
She's grown up at last. She's.
She's been bashed and pummeled and...
That's right. I burnt down Blackmore. That's why they came. The prisoners had to come. Because I
that's
burnt
why
their
the
prison down. The men
had to come to the
Wentworth.
women's...
That's right.
That's right, yeah.
So it was because of
through
me
you.
that you got, and I reckon that's what's going to happen after this. Rita's going to die. She gets the freak, but then she's going to
Oh, and I think Lurch and Harry go off to live in the country.
yes,
Yeah.
and have lots of sex and babies.
Probably,
That's
yes.
what it is.
Yeah, and then...
I can see 6 at least.
Yes, I can too. And I can see them being, the stalwarts in the community, in the country community, the football club.
He
and the
becomes the police officer, and you become the you supply organic
CWA
vegetables.
president.
That's right.
Yeah,
You would run
yeah.
the CWA exactly. You do good works in the community,
Oh, look, this
and
is...
you'd visit Rita's grave every year on her birthday.
Yeah, I
and
would.
you'd bring her roses, wouldn't you?
I would. With a bikie.
Maybe she'd learn to ride a bike.
She could too.
Maybe let her come with a basket of goodies on the bike.
See, look, there's a good two-shot. Maggie and I are the same height.
Yeah.
That's really hard to do when
love
you,
you.
when you're acting with somebody who comes up to your shoulder. They
Yeah.
keep telling you to bend your knees and things.
See.
Oh,
No, this is also, I'm dying, but I know that I'm
you're going to get
going
her.
to get her. Yeah.
You're going to have that last.
Yeah. It's Billy Hunter who's the arresting police officer, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, I think it is. It claps the hand on her shoulder, and he agreed to do it because he wanted to be part of the great Australian series that was ending.
Gosh. Doesn't the music add so much?
Yeah.
Doesn't it? Whenever it's a film or television.
Oh, music is everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
So the right choice of the music is so important.
Here he is. Oh, no, it's
No.
not yet.
She's
No,
got
it's
to
the other
go.
guy.
She's got to go and get it first. Yeah, they're just checking up on her.
That's right. What do you reckon would have happened to the freak?
Well, they would have.
It's like, I wonder how many years you get for receipt of stolen money.
Oh no.
She might have got 5 to 7 years, maybe.
Something like that.
So she'd have been out these past 15 years. I wonder what she'd be up to. Maybe she would have come to. she would have turned up on your back doorstep. Actually, well, that's the sequel. Mm-hmm. That's what we could do.
Yes.
We could do the sequel in the country, so where Wandon Valley meets Wentworth Detention Centre. She could be up to her old tricks.
Yeah.
And, we could run it in CWA meetings.
Yeah.
We could have, all the characters come back.
To the local pub.
Right.
Oh, dear.
And we could have all the new generation coming up. You could have all the, all these characters have kids.
There's the food.
There's the food. Stone cold porridge.
Yeah. And lots of pushing it around the plate.
Yeah.
Oh, see, because we all really believe that you're dead. We've been told that you're dead.
Oh, okay.
And we really believe that. That was an awful thing to do, really.
I know. It's an awful thing to do to the fans too. But, that's what good storytelling's about.
I suppose,
yes.
Yeah. See, lots of pushing around. See that? Yeah.
Yeah, but nobody feels like eating.
Oh, of course.
It's got nothing to do with the food. They're depressed.
When you look at this, do you feel like it's like yesterday in a way?
Yes, that's depressing. God, it's been such a long time, but it does seem like. I mean, so much has happened. I've done so much theatre.
Last laundry scene.
Oh, yeah.
And because every time we did a last scene in a set, they whisked it away till finally. I think even by this stage now, this laundry scene was one of the last ones filmed, so that gradually the studio's getting to be emptier and emptier, and it is a vast, huge studio.
Because it's in time for the vast, big, huge party that was about to happen.
Oh, we did have a good party.
It was a good party.
And a big cake.
Huge cake.
We had a number of parties. I remember the 600th party. Grundy's usually sort of took over a restaurant for the night, and we had presents, and that was pretty good. So I got 2 of those.
I missed out.
You did.
I didn't get that.
I got to go to the 500th and the 600th, but you did get to see Sammy Davis Jr.
This is
so
true.
There's no comparison.
This is true.
Really.
Okay, fair enough.
No comparison.
And I do remember quite a few lovely dinners. We did go out for dinner.
Yeah, we did. See, there you go. The power of the people. If you pull together, you'll win. You see, talking about the message before about what Prisoner meant to so many of the fans. This is really interesting.
Just testing.
Interesting scene, and lovely Kate Hood.
Beautiful Kate Hood. Herself a fabulous singer.
Amazing, wonderful actress.
Kate went on and did like many of the major musicals, didn't she? When she was in Shout.
Yes, she was.
She had come from New Zealand, already established as a very, very well-known music theatre performer.
And she was Shout the one about Buddy Holly?
No, Johnny O'Keefe.
Oh, Johnny O'Keefe. Well, she was in the musical about
Buddy
Holly
right.
as well. Yeah, and she's fantastic singer, wonderful voice. Yeah,
I thought Roseanne did this role beautifully.
Yeah,
because she's
very intelligent girl. She is.
Bright as. Yes, and she just did that with such conviction and simplicity.
So, Glenn, you teach a lot of young actors nowadays,
yeah,
don't
I
you?
do.
Do a lot of productions
I've always, even since before Prisoner, I've always been a teacher of actors or kids. Because any actor in Australia, probably anywhere in the world, needs to have some other way of earning money as well. But I love teaching, and I love so I've taught in primary schools and secondary schools and teenagers, and but I teach at the Victorian College of the Arts. I train actors, and I'm directing a lot now. So.
Yeah, and you do a fabulous job as directing. That production of A Midsummer Night's Dream with those young students was really
exciting, wasn't it? It was funny,
wonderful.
It's funny and
sort
sexy.
of simple things that you used that made such a great big empty space.
Yeah, I know, it was great.
And just the few simple things, you know.
And great actors, you know, who went with me, and I said, I just want to create this sort of thing. Do you reckon you could do it? And bang, they'd do it. Or they were so willing. And and that's coming back, that production.
Oh, I'm pleased.
Going to do it again.
It was really good. And lovely to see those young people, you know, react so well. I mean, so many young actors come into series like this, you know, and maybe just get to do a little role. And I still maintain I've done a lot of, you know, different series like Flying Doctors and Something in the Air and things like that, where I just go in for maybe 2 scenes or 3 scenes. And you have to, you know, pull a character just out of a hat. It is a lot easier, as you know, once you've established a character in a series like this, you know, become the character. So you learn your lines and you come on set, and it just comes to you because you do it. You've done it so often.
You're in the rhythm of it. You're in the flow, and so you know it's quite hard to come in as an outsider. And it was interesting since I've been, you know, a carry on from teaching is coaching, performance coaching. So I've supported a lot of young actors in feature films, and the children in Jindapan. I think I spoke to you about that earlier. And here she goes. She's about to get it. It's money. And being a crew, being on the other side of the camera it's really interesting, because now I know that a stable, you know, regular cast are just dying for those people to come in, fresh energy, new ideas, and quite often the guest roles have the best storylines. Yeah, you know, so that's been really interesting for me, sort of mid-career, to go, I can, you know, now with the benefit of a bit more experience, I can handle those shorter scenes. But it is quite daunting to come into a. You know.
Look, also everyone knows each other, and to walk into a production. I love it when I still find that there's a cameraman or
someone you know.
Someone I know from prisoner days, you know. I can't always remember their names.
No, that's right.
But it's just such a joy. They go, Lois, you know, and you think, finally, just to know one person just puts you so much at ease in that sort of environment when you're coming in, you know, just as a sort of outsider to do a very quick role, and especially like stock characters like a policeman or we finally got her.
Amazing.
But this is still a nice twist, isn't it?
It's the best is to come. It must have had we all had such fun doing it. It's such a gift to be handed something. Look at how thrilling that would be. See, that's part of that ritual of going into the prison system that anyone who's been arrested will identify with straight away.
Fingerprints.
And we're talking about what we've done since Prisoner. I've done lots of theatre, lots of teaching and directing now. I've done quite a bit of television. I was in a series called Medical.
That's right, that was great.
Forensic pathologist, and once again I did research. I went and met a forensic pathologist and did 2 months' work with him. He was such a generous man. And then I got the role, and in the end I said, well, you know, a lot of the scenes I will be playing are, you know, conducting the autopsy. You won't see that on camera, but I'll have to be obviously holding the props the right way. So you'll have to show me what they are and what they're called. And he said, well, Glenda.
You didn't?
I did. And it was such a privilege to go, and thank God I went to see an autopsy being conducted on someone who just died of a heart attack. You know, it wasn't anything really too horrible. But I then went on into the television series, and after about 6 weeks, I rang him up in frustration. I said, I don't know, Ellen, I don't know what to do this week. Every week it's the same bloody thing. Cause and time of death. Cause and time of death. Cause and time of death. He said, Glenda, that's my job. That's what I do.
In this episode too, like they used a lot of people, you know, some of the prison officers, they'd come in and they'd do one episode and, you know, they wouldn't work for a couple of weeks and then they'd, you know.
That's
so
right.
They sort of brought people back and, you know, so you'll see faces that you've seen.
That will flash by.
Yeah, and look at that. Isn't that fantastic?
Yes.
Oh, tough face. Look, still. No makeup either, you see, where it was tough. And the lighting wasn't always the best either.
Shocking.
Oh dear.
10 o'clock.
But the legacy of a show like Prisoner with was 3 cameras. It was what do they call it, multicam? the techniques they've used to develop that kind of fast turnaround television went on. In Murder Call was very influenced by, the new glitzy American series that are coming up, like X-Files. They really wanted to make a sort of Australian look of X-Files. And we had 3 film cameras on us all the time, which was... So the advance in technology was phenomenal, and I think all of the early lessons were drawn from programs like Prisoner.
You have no right to put me in here. Why am I here? Why aren't I in isolation? Not you! Her!
Here we go towards... Oh, it's very dark, isn't it, inside the corridors and things. Now, by now, there's very little. There's only, I think, this... There's only this cell and this bit of corridor left.
That's right. And a vast empty space beyond. And it's very... I think that they deliberately lit this as dark as possible because it's, the freak's demise.
Yeah.
Cell was prepared for me, wasn't it, Morris?
I wonder what everyone in the building was thinking this week when Prisoner was being wrapped up.
How many times have we, there have been so many plots where they tried together.
Yes,
weren't there so many over the...
There's this sense of justice.
Set her up, and somehow or other she always got out of it,
Yeah, and that this time she didn't. It's a great ending, great story.
And I love it when, when we all hear, we don't know what's going on, of course, but then all of a sudden we find out that she's there. I mean, can you imagine what that in real life if they knew?
This is Michael Winchester. Michael was my flatmate.
Oh, that's right, when you were in Sydney.
My best friend, Christina, who I've been friends with since I was a child, she and Michael trained at the Victorian College of the Arts in Melbourne and came up to Sydney and lived in my house when I got Prisoner, and so I went down to Melbourne to do this for a year, and they lived in my house. And then Michael got this
role.
gig. Yeah.
He played Mrs. Morris's son.
He
remember?
did? Yeah. Yes, he did.
It was a good casting.
It was great.
Blonde,
great
and they looked,
Yes. It was lovely to have, a friend there after all this time. And I was just thinking, that since Prisoner, how much work has been done, good work has been done, to raise awareness about certain issues like women living with AIDS. Annie Phelan has become the patron of the organisation of Positive Women, and how many charities and fundraisers we've all been involved in over the years.
That's right. All my memorabilia that I had from Prisoner I've virtually given to have auctions off, especially when we had, the 20th anniversary and the 25th anniversary.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because we had T-shirts done and wind cheaters done with it, all those sort of things. Yeah, here we go. Now this is it.
This is it. This is in fact the last scene we shot, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Even though the episode continues, but this was the very last scene,
and it was all the leads.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
I got a little. I'm there. I don't get to say anything, but I'm
there.
Yeah. And it was just fantastic.
A great moment to play. I really enjoyed this. Standing around the corner holding the tray.
This is exactly it. I think it might be the one after.
It's leading up to it.
Yeah, leading up to it.
But certainly this.
But look at that. That's fabulous. All those faces. Ferguson, she calls it out too. Isn't it powerful? I think that's wonderful.
Oops.
See, look.
So they had fun in the editing suite,
didn't they? Yeah. Here we are. Oh, it is this. It is it. Yeah, I beg your pardon. I trusted you.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Down the track.
Ta-da.
Up she goes. It's a clever bit of camera work there.
Yeah.
But everyone's going.
Is it a dream?
Is it a hallucination? I didn't say a thing.
There I am in the background. Look. Please, Daz, punch. We gotta. Yeah. But everybody knew, didn't they?
Everyone was
the
in
governor
it.
And everyone was in on it.
It was a deal that I'd made with, or that Carrie had made with the governor. The whole lot of us in on it.
So, at the end of this scene, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
And then they pulled all this down in about 5 seconds flat. And then we had a great big party. Yeah.
Lots of dancing.
Now, this scene here, this is, in fact, the last scene filmed in the episode. But I think we filmed this the week before, didn't we? And,
because
It's
following that pattern
it's
of shooting
considered to be OB because
the
it's
outside
outside. Yeah. So here's everybody outside on a very cold winter's morning, even though there's sunshine.
That's Melbourne. And then
and she comes out the door that's not really a door. I love that. I love that. It's not a door. It must make me laugh every time I saw it. See, there's Hazel.
isn't this great the way that they've edited this together?
Now, there are, I think, only 3 people in that last episode who'd actually been in the first episode of the whole series. One of them was Elspeth Ballantyne, and there were 2 extras.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Been
in it in all the first right through to the last.
Elspeth
Not that the extras would have been in every episode because they would they changed them around to make it look like there were more people
That's
in
right.
prison. But yeah,
Now you'll see coming up in a minute a great recapitulation, if you like, throwback to Rita's entrance.
oh,
Well,
right.
she does the warrior
Warrior
war
call.
cry,
Yeah.
which I love doing that, and that's part of that really fabulous thing of being able to play the end of a story.
Yes,
you know,
that's
that
right.
she can say, "Do you remember when she arrived? This
Yes,
is what
when
she
done.
did."
Yeah.
So even though she's dying in body, here's
Yeah.
you know her that amazing light. There it is. There she goes.
Yeah. So we all join in.
We all join in. There we go.
Sickly bugger.
Sickly buggered. The oldest bikie in the world, Lurch. You know, and you never know. She could have
Got
she
better.
could have that spirit to throw that off.
Yeah, there you go.
I wish he could again.
Well, we'd just like to say thank you very much from both of us for if you've watched the whole 692 episodes, it's been an absolute privilege to be here for the very last one.
Do you think some people would have watched the whole 692 episodes?
Well, maybe not all at once, but you
Gonna
never
take
know.
a while.
They might have a bit of time on their hands too.
They might.
But it was such a joy. It's been a big part of my life.
Mine
Prisoner.
too,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
And it's been an absolute pleasure to be back here, talking to you, my best friend.
Yes.
And just wish everyone, a lovely day.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening.
Sharing all the